So I think there are lots of classic entrepreneurial mistakes that are much discussed in the sort of startup world. You know, things like not talking to your customers enough, things like waiting too long to release a product, not managing your cash. Say like this, you can find thousands of blog posts on those topics. One neglected mistake I think that people make is what I call the step change fallacy. What is the step change fallacy? Well, it's basically the idea that if only X happens, everything will get so much easier. What is X? Well, it's typically something like, if only I can get this meeting with this famous investor, or if only I can get this celebrity to tweet about us on Twitter, if only I can attend this conference where all these important companies are, then suddenly everything will get so much easier. And it's this belief that there are these miracle moments that, you know, if only this happens, then we'll be in a totally different place. Unfortunately, I do think that is a fallacy. And, you know, having worked with literally hundreds of companies at EF, what I see is that there are no shortcuts, there are no miracles. You know, really the only things that move the needle for an early stage startup are really building deep understanding of your customers, reaching an insight about how to serve them, and building the product that realizes that insight. Almost anything else is a waste of time for a very early stage company. And yet, I see founders get sucked in time and time again to the promise of the miracle moment. Yeah, I know I meant to be building the product this week, so we were going to launch it on Friday, but I got invited to this conference and I really think I should go do it. Almost never will that conference move the needle. Almost never will going to see this random investor who says that they're interested in your company when you're not actively fundraising, almost never will that move the needle. Almost never will meeting someone who's famous actually change what happens to your company. You know, these are the things that it feels like they should move the needle, but never do. Why does it feel like it? Well, because there is actually a correlation between those things and success. It's just that causality runs in the opposite direction. It's not that big name venture capitalists meeting you makes your company successful. It's that if your company's successful, then you will probably meet with big name venture capitalists. It's not that attending conferences makes you successful. It's that if you're very successful, then you'll be invited to attend a lot of conferences. But if you get the causality the wrong way around, if you think that doing one will lead to the other, you're going to waste a lot of your time. And time is your most precious resource as a startup founder. You have a finite window of time in which to get to the point where you've built something that your customers love. If you don't do that, no number of conferences, no number of celebrities, no number of investors will change anything for you. I have to confess, I have fallen victim to this same fallacy along the way building EF, and I know Alice would say the same. There were so many moments where we really believed that, oh, we've got this one meeting, and if this one meeting works, then EF will be totally different. In fact, we've been pretty fortunate over the years that a lot of these moments have happened. But when we look back, we know they're not the ones that move the needle. In fact, what moved the needle was doubling down on our core thesis about building companies and working with the best and most ambitious founders. And really, everything else is icing on the cake. It's not the core of what we do. And so holding yourself to that and remembering that, I think, is really, really key for a very early stage founder. I think when most founders hear about the step change fallacy, it resonates with them. You know, it's not that this is like some deeply counterintuitive thing where they say, actually, no, I truly believe that attending this conference is the most important thing for my company. It's more that when that opportunity comes along, it's just kind of irresistible. It's very flattering to be invited to meet an investor or invited to speak at a conference. So it feels like the right thing to do. So what you really need as a founder to avoid this fallacy is really a mechanism to hold yourself to account. So I think one practical way of avoiding it is to talk about it. You know, develop a culture in your founding team with your early team members about what will move the needle for the company. So if you establish culturally that the thing that makes a difference for you as a startup is understanding your customers' needs, developing a deep insight, and building a great product, then whenever these opportunities come along, you will hold each other to account. You'll say, well, wait, is this actually the thing that matters? Or is the thing that matters something else? So creating a culture where you can challenge each other on whether you're working on the most important things seems to me to be the best way by far to avoid this fallacy.